Locations: Sewers of Loc Muinne. For ages, humans viewed elves as being both beautiful and refined, as a race seemingly molded out of better clay than men. While perceiving them thus, humans also ask themselves, do elves pee? Few wonder anymore, but if any still need tangible proof, it can be found in the sewers of Loc Muinne. This colossal system of corridors and canals arouses envy in human builders. It served the city's inhabitants for long years, and today it has become a shelter and breeding ground for monsters. Those who do not fear beasts can use the sewers to travel discreetly between the city's quarters. Loc Muinne Amphitheatre. The amphitheatre in Loc Muinne was once the jewel of the city. Even stripped of its former trappings and ruined by time, it remained impressive. The elves had used it as a theatre, a venue where troubadours performed, perhaps even as an arena for gladiatorial combat. During the memorable events recounted herein, it served as a site for a summit of mages and monarchs. Characters: Gaspar. The Witcher ran into Gaspar once more in unexpected circumstances. The alchemist was part of an expedition that was to scour the caverns beneath Loc Muinne in search of the laboratory of the famous Mage Diarana. Yeah. Felicia Cori. Hoping to earn approval and a passing grade, Felicia had come to Loc Muinne with Philippa. She waited there for her instructor to find some free time for her. In Loc Muinne's central square, in addition to selling a variety of useful items, Felicia Cori also offered hairstyling services. Marcus. Mighty Numa's assistant, made money on the side by, among other things, selling healthy food, the foundation of a healthy diet. The Incredible Lockhart. Expelled from the Ban Ard magical school for carousing and gambling, Lockhart was selling his magical tomes and amulets at quite moderate prices. Brass of Ban Ard. Human sorcerers have been fascinated with Loc Muinne from the very beginning, and Brass of Ban Ard was one of the many who wanted to fathom its mysteries. During his travels and research he had come to possession of several quite interesting weapons. He sold these to any whose pouch was deep enough to cover the expense. Shilard Fitz-Oesterlen. I do not know the nature of the deals which linked Fitz-Oesterlen and Radovid the Stern, but one could easily assume that they served the Empire's political interests first and foremost. Geralt had had enough of Shilard's political games, and began repaying the debts the ambassador had incurred with a delicate assault on the envoy's personal inviolability. Then came the smashing of his face. Aryan La Valette. Imagine the witch's surprise when he learned that the heroic youth had survived after all, and then turned to King Radovid of Redania for help in finding his sister Anais. Iorveth. Iorveth was determined to save Saskia and settle the score with the sorceresses. He and Geralt set out to Loc Muinne to close the final chapter of the story. There they had to split up. Iorveth went to search Philippa's quarters, and Geralt didn't hear from him for some time. It's a fair guess that the squatter leader was not idle in the meantime. Iorveth, as he was wont to do, appeared as if from nowhere, just in time to help escort the sorceress to her quarters. On the way he made clear to her that, if not for the circumstances, their meeting would have been far less pleasant to her. The elf helped Geralt recover the dagger needed to lift the spell from Saskia. Though Iorveth could only hope that Geralt would do his best to not kill the dragoness, the Scoia'tael took the risk and placed his trust in the Witcher. They had already been comrades in arms for good or ill for some time. Philippa Eilhart. If Philippa Eilhart had counted on her troubles coming to an end in Loc Muinne, she miscalculated. She was arrested by the Redanians just after arriving and placed in a dungeon where she awaited the king's judgment. In retribution for certain events of the past, not to mention her recent activities, the sorceress was brutally blinded during an initial interrogation. Death seemed an increasingly likely prospect, and it seemed only a miracle could save her. Geralt had no desire to help a magician who repaid his trust with treason, but Philippa's arguments were justified. Only she could lift the spell from Saskia, thus the Witcher was forced to trust her words once more. One might have thought that a blind, exhausted sorceress would have no hope to flee. Yet she seized the moment in which both her guardians were distracted and deceived them. Philippa Eilhart risked it all on one gambit and transformed into an owl, fleeing Loc Muinne. Given the presence of the vengeful Iorveth, one might say that fear gave wing to her escape plan. Glossary. Other. Wild Hunt. Aramil, an elf from a parallel world, was pursued by the spectral riders to Loc Muinne, where he found a moment of respite. He left a missive according to which the King of the Hunt desires to fling open the gates between the worlds for all time, so that chaos and terror might reign in our world as well.